Wild, wild horses couldn't drag me away. Hey, it's Nate with another piano tutorial. Today I'm doing Wild Horses by the Rolling Stones. Not much to say about this classic. It's probably my favorite song of theirs, and it translates really well to a solo piano version. Let's jump in. All right, so first off, I recommend you get the chords and lyrics sheet. There's a link down in the description. You can download it, print it out. It'll help you follow along and see where the chords and lyrics line up with each other. We'll start off with the intro, and I'm going to use the intro to talk about some of the rhythms and techniques we can use for the rest of the song as well. Here's the chord progression for that. We're just going back and forth between a G major chord, which looks like that. So that's G, B, D in the right hand. I'm using my pinky down here just on a single G bass note. And this is middle C, by the way, so our hand is about there and then an octave lower in the left. And for the A minor 7, of course, we're gonna need an A bass note, so just stepping up to the fourth finger in the left hand there. And I'm actually gonna hop my hand up and do it like this. So we're basically playing a C major chord, C, E, G in the right, while the left hand does that A bass note. And we're in a nice slow 4/4 time, so each one of these measures gets 4 counts. Right off the bat, let's do quarter note chords in our right hand, just playing on every count. So it'll be G, 2, 3, 4, A minor 7, 2, 3, 4. And you just go back and forth like that a few times. I am using the sustain pedal there just to smooth it out a little bit, just doing a quick little lift every time the chord changes. If you need help with sustain pedal timing, I made a video all about that. And throughout the song, when you have a full measure of G, they'll often go to a G sus4 on the third count of the measure, like 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's just going up to a C for the middle note with the fourth finger and then back. It doesn't always do it. It definitely doesn't do it on the first measure of the intro, but I will throw it in for the other measures. I'm going to talk about a couple other rhythms here. I consider these optional. It'll make it a little trickier to play. So you could totally just do that simple quarter note feel for the whole song. But thinking in eighth notes, so dividing the beat in half, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and I'm also gonna throw in left hand bass note hits on the and after 2 and the and after 4. So like 1, 2, and 3, 4, and getting into that kind of a groove there. And sometimes I'll also play on beat 3, especially like in the choruses where it gets more intense, like 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. This is a really common playing pattern, and I made a video all about that if you want to dive a little deeper. Finally, one thing I'm going to sometimes throw in to really mimic the guitar strumming rhythm is going to rely on 16th notes in the left hand. So 16th notes, we're dividing the beat into 4. So like 1 E and a, 2 E and a, and the rhythm's going to be like this. We'll do it on a G, and I'm going to do it to anticipate the going to the sus4. 1, 2 E and a 3, 4. So just kind of a last minute left hand hit before beat 3. 1, 2 E and a 3, 4. And then final thing I want to mention is sometimes with that sus4, they go back to it on the and after 4, like 1, 2 E and a 3, 4, and you can do that as another sus4 chord or just stepping up as a melody note. I know I'm getting into the weeds a little bit here, but it'll be smooth sailing from here on out. So let me just play that whole intro, and I'm gonna throw in some of those details we talked about. So that would be heading into the verse. Let's look at that verse. Here's the chord progression for that. Right off the bat, we've got this B minor chord. So B bass note, left hand third finger, and then B, D, and F sharp here for a measure. And in this first line, we're just gonna go back and forth between that and the G. Of course, you can throw in that G sus4. And then starting off the second line, we've got an A minor 7, but we're gonna do this a little differently. So here's the A minor 7 we did before. For this one, we're gonna invert it. We're gonna take this G down here, So it's gonna look like that. And just notice that coming off the G at the end of the first line, our thumb can stay in the same spot here, so that's a really smooth transition. You just gotta kind of stretch the top two notes. This next measure is interesting. We've got a C chord, so C, E, G doing the C bass note here, and then we've got a D major chord, so stepping up D, F sharp, and A, but the little dashes represent extra counts of C, so it's not split in half here. We've got C, 2, 3, and then D hits on the fourth count. And here's what it's going to sound like. So this is a rhythm that comes up throughout the song. We've got 1, 2, and then we need eighth notes, left hand, then right, back and forth. 3 and 4 and again. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and then going down to the G. If you look at the next measure after the G, we've got the same rhythm. This time it's in the opposite order. We got D, 2, 3 and 4 and that's going to be looping back around to the B minor. So let me sing through that whole first two lines of the verse. Childhood living is easy to do. The things you wanted, I bought them for you. So that's starting over, graceless lady. So the second time, each verse is kind of what we've done here twice with different lyrics each time. And the second time, the one difference is you don't have the D walking down to C at the end. You just stay on the final D for 4 counts before we hit the chorus. One other little detail I wanted to mention is when you go from the A minor 7 at the beginning of the second line to the C, you can do a little walk-up note there on the and after 4, which is kind of where we've been doing a lot of those left-hand rhythms anyway. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. So I'll be throwing that in as well. Let's take a look at the chorus. Here's the chords for that. Mostly chords we've already done so far. The only new chord here is the F major chord, and that's shaped just like the G we've been doing, just all white keys, just stepping down F, A, C with an F bass note there. Now the A minor 7 we're going to use in the chorus is the same one from the intro where we're inverted up here, C, E, G. I'm going to play the chorus a little bit more just full on. I've been playing quiet up until this point. Wild horses. So then we've got that C, G, 2, F, 2 to C, 2, 3 and 4 and so just like those other rhythms with the dashes work, this time we're stepping down to the B minor on our way back to A minor 7. Also, with the energy raising in the chorus, I am hitting on beat 3 in the left hand. Also notice we've been in the G 5-finger scale the whole time, but once we did the F, that kind of pulled the hand down. Where you transition to the lower hand position doesn't matter too much. I'm probably, once I am in this, for the rest of the chorus, I'm going to keep my hands like this and just stretch my thumb up in the second measure in the second line when I need to go to the D. Wild, wild horses, 3 and 4 and 1 couldn't drag me away. 2, 3, 4. Okay, cool. We've really covered almost everything. After that chorus, there's another verse just like the first one, another chorus just like the first one. Then we've got the guitar solo section, and that's a little different. Here's the chords for that. So the only new chord here is the F major 9. Sounds fancy, but all we need to do is do a C major chord in the right hand while doing an F bass note in the left hand. It's a nice colorful chord there. And so to start the solo off, we're just gonna go back and forth between that and the C a few times. You know, if you want, you can throw in some rhythm like that using 16th notes to get that guitar strumming feel. Sort of like 1, 2 E and a 3 E and 4. 1, 2 E and a 3 E and 4. So going back and forth, just left and right, starting with the left. But if that's too tricky, I think that's totally optional. And then of course we've got that C, 2, 3, and 4, and then we're hanging out on G. You can throw in those sus4s there before we go into the next verse. This is the part of the recording where the actual piano part starts to really speak. I've been kind of just basing this on the guitar, but if you want to throw this in on the second measure of G here, on beat 3, they do this cool thing. They go up an octave and go. So that's going to be D, E, G, and you can kind of harmonize it by hitting the G and on the D. Like that, and it's 16th notes, 3, E, and come to think of it, on that first measure of G, they do a little bit more of a melody with the sus4 and sus2, like 1, 2, 3, and 4, and just kind of walking on the 3 middle notes here with the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd finger, just kind of up and down. So with all those details, the 2 measures of G would be like this. So that B minor would be going into the next verse. And if you want to play that third verse with the right hand up an octave, you totally can. The piano on the recording does do that. I'm probably just going to hit it for the first hit of that verse and then just kind of bring it down. Just I think it sounds nice with the more thick middle sounding notes. But after that third verse, there is another chorus just like the other ones, and then there is an instrumental section, which is basically just a pass through the verse. You can think of it as a pass through the second half of the verse, where at the end it just holds the D. And for that, I am gonna do the right hand up an octave, just because there's no singing here, and the piano is gonna be kind of the lead interest here. And you can just throw in a little bit of arpeggio stuff here, just kind of on eighth notes. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and totally optional, but I'm just gonna play around with it and see what comes. After that instrumental section, we have the final chorus. It looks like this. It's basically like the other choruses, but at the end, instead of just holding on a measure of C, we've got that little walk-up moment, that 3 and 4, and then just ending on a G. And then the song is over. All right, thank you for sticking with me. I am now going to do a full cover of the song so you can see how all the parts we've been talking about fit together. And I know I gave you a lot of different rhythm options and some little decorations or even some sort of loose arpeggios. I'm just gonna feel it out and kind of throw things in when I hear them. Don't feel like you should copy exactly what I do when. I think maybe you can find a little bit of freedom in your playing with this one as well. But if you did enjoy this video, give it a like. Also subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and click the bell so you know when I put out more videos like this one. Also drop a request in the comments. I love reading those and checking out music. I do consider all of them, even if I can't get to them all. Okay, here is my version of Wild Horses. Childhood living is easy to do. The things you wanted, I bought them for you. Graceless lady, you know who I am. suffer. A dull aching pain. Now you've decided to show me the same. No sweeping exits or off-stage lines could make me feel better or treat you unkind. Wild horses couldn't drag me away. Wild, wild horses couldn't drag me away. I know I dreamed you a sin and a lie. I have my freedom, but I don't have much time. Faith has been broken. Tears must be cried. Let's do some living after we die. Wild horses couldn't drag me away. Wild